Hi there, this is David and welcome to my crowdsourced video detailing my Discord server's top 10 best console JRPGs of 2021. To cap off the year, I thought that it would be fun to put a pause on the class ranking videos and to look back on the best games of the year with the help of my Discord channel. Please keep in mind that this is not necessarily my opinion, but the opinion of the best Discord server around. So join and become part of the fun as we go ahead and get started. Number 10, submitted by Formless with 17 votes, is Monster Hunter Stories 2, released on June 25th for the PC and Switch. This little gem is a heartfelt story about you as a rider, starting out from your little seaside village and then overcoming insurmountable odds while bonding with your Monstie, who's heralded as the Wings of Ruin. The bonds between your characters is very heartwarming, and the developers did a fantastic job of keeping you engaged and wondering what will happen next. The battles are your typical turn-based JRPG affair, but with a rock-paper-scissors element, where blunt, sharp, and piercing attacks are used strategically to take enemies down efficiently. While the main game can take upwards of 80 hours to complete, there's still tons of solid post-game content too, not just BF's fluff to add to your time. And the voice acting is top-notch. There really isn't anything bad to say about this game. Number 9, submitted by Telsrob and Jeffrey K, with 17 votes, is Fantasian, released on April 2nd for the Apple Store. The graphics are simply gorgeous, and they don't look like any other game that I've ever played because they're all actually hand-built miniature dioramas. The random encounters are fun with touches of old and new. Player characters stand in a line along one side of the screen while the enemies are scattered around the playfield and remain where they spawn. But the meat of the combat comes in the attacks. Some go in a straight line emanating from the character, others affect a circular area that can also be freely aimed, and then some even travel in an arc, the degree of which can be adjusted to hit or avoid certain enemies. All in all, it's really cool and really unique. I just wish that it would come to the PC or the real consoles. Number 8, submitted by Mr. Bones75, Ace Trainer AJ, Krillnik, and with 29 votes, is Neo, The World Ends With You, released on July 27th on the PS4, PC, and Switch. This is a great sequel to the original DS game, with familiar faces returning and new ones coming out of the woodwork too. The soundtrack even tops the first game, and the Shibuya region really comes alive as it's seen through the lens of young people. The Reaper's game from the original returns, as it's now played in teams, where the cost of losing is permanent erasure. The weirdo controls are now a thing of the past, and there's a new rhythm mechanic that fills your sync gauge in the overworld. Style is the core of combat too, as each party member can equip a brand name pin in order to use a single attack in combat. And while this might seem limiting, the highlight of the combat system is combining those pins with different effects to win battles. Number 7, submitted by John, with 29 votes, is a Saga Frontier Remaster, released on April 15th on the PC, PS4, and Switch. Like many games in the past, really before DLC was a thing, rushed development cycles meant that content had to be cut out, and then it was just never added back in. The most famous example of this might be Xenogears, with the entire second disc missing, but you can really tell that the same thing occurred in the last half of Secret of Mana, as well as in Saga Frontier. But this remaster adds in back all the content that was cut, as well as a new campaign for Fuse, and much more for Asalius. Then there's more quality of life features, such as fast forwarding the battles, and in-game guides that actually tell you what you need to do in order to move on with the story and complete the game, which honestly is normally a problem for me whenever it comes to these Saga games. Number 6, submitted by Fantasian, King Urameshi, and Zack Knight, with 40 votes, is Nier Replicant, released on April 23rd for the PS4, PC, and Xbox. Released as an update of the original game, that is the understatement of the year. All of the original voice acting has been re-recorded, and the music has all been remixed, remastered, and even rearranged, with new tracks winning the soundtrack of the year at the Game Awards. The battle system has been upgraded to what fans of Nier Automata would have been more used to while not changing the core gameplay, and the graphics had a huge overhaul too, with new character models and upscaled environments. But the most important part of all is new story content, including an entire new chapter along with a new ending. It might start off slow with lots of little nods to previous games in the Dragon Guard series, but they also foreshadow the dark and grim story that follows. Number 5, submitted by Jeffrey K, with 45 votes, is the Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, released on June 10th for the PS5. This might seem like a controversial submission, but as the first true JRPG released for the PS5, it does deserve a mention, especially episode Yuffie. Scratch that. Yuffie. Old habits die hard, sue me. In the original game, you might have an odd run-in with Yuffie, and other than her wanting your materia, not much else of her backstory is explained, though this fleshes out her character from clumsy little girl to a full-fledged member of your team with quite the unique backstory. She starts outside of Midgar on a secret mission to obtain powerful materia, and as a neat addition, some areas that you've been through are modified to reach new areas which only a ninja can do. You'll be scaling walls, solving room puzzles, and following the members of the Avalanche. Number 4, submitted by Eagle Knight, Debris44, and with 47 votes is Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, released on February 21st for the PS4, PC, and Switch. Ys 9 gives something back to players who love this series, little tidbits to say, hey, you should check out what Adol did before all this. Each game in the series is better than the next, and it takes what was so good about Ys 8 and it elevates it all with the monstrum gifts that you use to move about the city and the prison. Other Ys games have you explore different areas and be outside for the most part. However, this is different as you don't leave the city and you're only able to visit certain parts as you begin. It really takes advantage of the monstrum gifts later in the game as you feel like a superhero discovering different areas of the city and the prison. It's more like an action platformer that you'd see in like Spider-Man instead of an RPG, which is a refreshing take on the old formula. Number 3, submitted by McAllister NYC, Erica, and Jeffrey K with 51 votes, is Bravely Default 2, released on February the 26th on the Switch and the PC. Talk about a sequel course-correcting the mistakes of the past. Forging ahead with better characters and a back half that isn't an obnoxious amount of redundancy and repetition, Bravely Default 2 hit the ground running. Once again, you get to defeat classic enemies and steal their power for your own, and then customize your party in ways that are both inventive and unique. This is the Final Fantasy V of the Switch generation, with a great job system, the ability to mix and match them with sub-jobs, and even the story references it, as the 4 elemental crystals need saving because their theft has caused the entire planet to suffer. Also, it has a delightful little world map filled with treasures, super powerful mobs, secrets, and the grinding, which is somewhat mandatory in games like these, is completely painless with just a little bit of food items, chained encounters, and simple planning. Number 2, submitted by 10 the Rabbits and Fat Moogle with 65 votes, is SMT5, released on November 12th for the Switch. This might seem like a common pick, but it deserves all the attention that it can get. SMT in general is really made for more hardcore gamers, but not really this one. It is much more beginner friendly. I think many people like me began with the first English release in the series, Nocturne, and let me tell you, that was decidedly not beginner friendly. But persistence is a virtue, and we were rewarded. Even after putting in roughly 60 hours, there's just so much to do. I don't think that you'll get burnt out from it at all. From collecting all the Memen and demons to completing all the side quests, finding all the treasures, filling in the maps, and fighting the mini-bosses, it is just packed with content. If you're like me, and you like the combat in Persona, but not really all the social high school bullshit, then this is the game for you. And number 1, submitted by Fantasian, NeoGamer64, Matt the 14th, and Corvus Call, with 71 votes, is Tales of Arise, released on September 10th for the PS4, PS5, and Xbox. This is the most substantial upgrade to the Tales series that we've had since the PS2 era, truly creating a perfect base game for them to improve over this generation of Tales games. This is a breath of fresh air blown over a stagnating series. Just about everything received an upgrade. The beautiful new, almost graphic novel art style, which bleeds into the new skit system. A complete battle system overhaul, phased boss fights implementing elements from other action RPGs, a simple and useful food system, and a crafting system that unlocks more customization over time. Everything is here. The story is very show, don't tell, focused on character development and the interrelationships between them. I mean, it really does have everything that you need in an action RPG classic. Cute owls, a hot protagonist, a lady knight with her ass out in the air, and a disaster prince who can't seem to dress or bathe himself? Need I see more? Well, that's it for the top 10 best console JRPGs of 2021 as decided by my Discord server. We do have a few more honorable mentions though. Lost Judgment, The Caligula Effect 2, and Disgaea 6. What are your favorite console JRPGs of 2021 and why? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to take part in future game ranking videos, come and join the Discord channel to make your voice be heard too. The link to it can be found in the video description as well as the comments. I do hope to see you there. And as always, if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.